In a shocking revelation, a prominent figure from Berlin has declared that Ukraine is officially losing its technological edge in the ongoing conflict with Russia. This statement raises the alarming question: is Ukraine prepared to defend itself as its adversary gains strength? As Moscow ramps up production of drones and missiles with astounding speed, its military capabilities are not just improving, they're exponentially expanding. For a long time, Ukraine relied on its technological prowess to outmaneuver Russia on the battlefield. However, recent developments signal a drastic shift. An October report suggests that Russia is mobilizing significantly, backed by financial resources and allies such as Iran and North Korea. This isn't merely a battle of numbers, it's a strategic realignment that sees Russia taking a commanding lead. With the Kremlin confirming military budgets for the next 2 years, while Ukraine struggles with its own reforms, the stakes are soaring. How will Ukraine withstand a possible wave of up to 400,000 Russian troops, as predicted by analysts? The growth of drone production facilities in Russia serves as a chilling reminder that the foes of Ukraine are not stagnant, they're rapidly innovating and scaling their production capabilities. Can the West respond swiftly enough? As discussions of defense strategies unfold in NATO, Russia's advances indicate a freshly set tempo of warfare. Shocking statistics suggest that while Ukraine fights for its survival, Russia may soon launch thousands of drones simultaneously, leading to potential catastrophe. A scenario looms where every night the skies above Ukraine could be filled with these unmanned aerial invaders, overwhelming its defenses and critically disrupting communications and power supply. Amidst this uncertainty, some Ukrainian officials cling to a thread of optimism, insisting that resolving these issues is possible with international support. But can it come fast enough, or is Ukraine destined to remain the frontline battleground? The clock is ticking, and each passing moment brings new challenging realities. As Moscow continues to mobilize its resources, the notion of Ukraine as a deterrent for Europe grows increasingly precarious. The weight of the situation bears down, leaving the question hanging: how long can Ukraine act as Europe's shield before it buckles under the relentless pressure of advancing foes? The narrative of war is shifting, and the consequences for millions are potentially devastating. As the lines between strategy and survival blur, only time will tell how this intense conflict unfolds. In the face of an evolving crisis, Ukraine finds itself at a crossroads, grappling with unprecedented challenges. Russia is ramping up its drone production, while Ukraine is mired in internal reforms. Nikita Piatyk points out a harsh truth: a nation undergoing tumult cannot afford complacency. The looming threat remains relentless, as failure to adapt could spell disaster. Now, the pressing question arises: is Ukraine truly equipped to handle a barrage of thousands of drones each day? The unfortunate answer is no. While some defenses are being built, they lack the capacity for the scale of attack anticipated. The West supplies rockets, but these efforts seem disjointed. The enemy continues to advance its production capabilities and refine its strategies. As expert Rudik warns, if Ukraine cannot rise to meet these challenges, it could face an energy catastrophe unlike anything imagined. The essentials, light, heat, air, could all crumble under the pressure. The modern battlefield does not pivot on tanks or ground troops alone, it's a realm dominated by swarms of drones overhead, each night ushering in a new onslaught. While discussions about support from Europe intensify, skepticism arises. Ruslan Garbenko asserts that Europe's financial backing is less about altruism and more about buying time. They know that Ukraine presently serves as the first line of defense between Russia and Europe, making it more pragmatic to invest in military strength than face direct conflict later. Historically, Europe has barely touched upon funding the living expenses of Ukrainian soldiers. Efforts focused on armaments and training. However, a shift is underway. European funding is now starting to include support for soldier salaries and logistics. This is a crucial indicator of the severity of the war at hand. The realization hangs in the air: Ruslan and his peers are preparing for a protracted conflict. Every moment counts as they strive to buy time for their forces to fortify their capabilities. The chilling reality lies not just in the numbers or the material, it's about human lives facing relentless turmoil. Can Ukraine maintain its resilience while becoming not just a survivor, but a bulwark against encroaching darkness? The road ahead is fraught with uncertainty, where the balance between hope and despair seems ever so thin. A pivotal moment unfolds in Europe as the conflict escalates. Ukrainian forces remain resilient, but an unsettling truth emerges: the European funds are finally addressing military expenses. This shift signals that leaders recognize the gravity of the situation. Ruslan articulates readiness for a demanding fight, while Nikita clings to the hope of survival. Both leaders race against time, knowing the stakes are rising. As the battle lines etch deeper into Europe's landscape, Ukraine stands as a bulwark against relentless aggression. The nation transforms into a formidable steel shield for the West, even as Ursula von der Leyen describes it as an unyielding bastion. However, beneath the lofty rhetoric lies a harsh truth. Ukraine is becoming a battleground, a place of despair and destruction. Hot water becomes scarce, lives are lost, and cities lie in ruins. Meanwhile, Europe focuses on buying time. Financial aid flows in, painted as gestures of goodwill, yet the true price is borne by the ordinary people. Those enlisting in the military, losing loved ones, and enduring the constant barrage of conflict are the unseen casualties of this geopolitical chess game. The critical question arises: how much longer can Ukraine absorb the blows? As Europe fortifies its defenses, a solitary front line remains. Russia, poised for a drawn-out conflict, finds itself holding the cards. Reports from Berlin confirm that the technological edge once held by Ukraine is slipping away. Mobilization efforts intensify on the Russian side, while Ukrainian officials, like Gorbenko, echo concerns of an impending surge in forces. The narrative shifts from a battle of courage to one defined by sheer numbers, as Rudik warns of thousands of threats looming in the skies. This is no coincidence, the patterns reveal a deliberate strategy. Ukraine is not merely a victim in this scenario, it has become an instrument in a larger game. The world watches, offering hollow support while expecting a stalemate. Yet, as leaders engage in political maneuvering, civilians continue to suffer the toll of war. Can Ukraine maintain its position as a stronghold, or will it succumb to the relentless tide? Each day brings fresh dilemmas, every moment, a reminder of the delicate balance between survival and submission. Realities shift, and while intentions may appear noble, the dire consequences remain. The future looms uncertain, and with each passing day, the pressure mounts on Ukraine. Can it endure through the endless storm, or is it merely a pawn in a larger narrative, sacrificed for a broader strategy? As leaders prepare for the long haul, Ukrainians face the harsh truth of their reality, a relentless fight for existence. As the previous part revealed, the war is drawing us into a terrifying new phase, where Ukraine morphs from a battling nation into a mere tool in a chess game of global interests. We cheer and applaud, yet no one shifts the strategy. Europe demands Ukraine to brace the front line. Imagine this chilling reality: what if Europe abandons Ukraine like a cracked shield, letting the storm crash onto its own shores? The bitter irony stings: Ukraine endures while big players scheme. America aims to exhaust Russia. Russia seeks to bleed Ukraine dry. Both gear for the next brutal escalation, as all these powers pursue selfish agendas. Ukrainians endure relentless grind, bombs whistling through night air, scorched earth reeking of smoke and fear, skin crawling under sirens wail. Daily echoes of hollow pledges, alliances, loans, changes, tweaks, aid. But beneath it all lurks one grim truth: the relentless pull of conflict. The nation decays. People fracture from fatigue. Defenses crumble, worn thin by endless assaults. Ukraine now serves as Europe's iron barrier. Yet a shield doesn't shatter easily, it frays when battered too long, too hard. If Brussels and Washington ignore the cries, does that mean the onslaught looms closer for them? In this savage struggle, no one is truly immune. Eventually, the peril gets crushed, and then, the horrors festering here will ignite across Europe. Suddenly, a devastating jolt. What if the forgotten shield silence unleashes a domino of fire that claims more than just Ukraine? As we huddle in dread, the unthinkable emerges: we are the first line, but fury knows no borders. This war, whispered about afar, soon arrives at every door. And in our trenches, we've lived it all along. The true shock? When Europe feels the lash, will it awaken too late, with bloodied hands and wrecked dreams? No. The cycle spins again, more vicious than before. Reimagining the fallout, feel the icy grip as drones hum like angry bees, engines roaring in the dark, vibrations shaking your bones. Rhetorical question hangs: how many shattered lives until they comprehend this isn't distant theater? In this final crescendo, a forbidden alliance hints at betrayal, whispers of aides funneling secrets, perhaps even turning shields into secrets. The twist? Ukraine's sacrifice births a European fortress, but at what cost, as their own shadows turn against them? Epic resolution unfolds. Years from now, a unified front rises, drones and missiles forgotten in unity's glow. Yet the scars remain, a vivid reminder that held lines were really bridges to redemption or ruin. And in that revelation, Ukraine stands tall, the unsung forge of a harsher peace. In the unfolding narrative of war, one question stands out: can Ukraine withstand a relentless tide of thousands of drones? As Russia readies for mass mobilization, Ukraine finds itself on a new battlefield, the vast skies where technology meets strategy. With the battlefield evolving, the question lingers: is Ukraine prepared for the overwhelming assault it may soon face? The echoes of urgency are growing. Russia, bolstered by its allies, is actively expanding its military capabilities, preparing for a profound confrontation. Many dismiss these developments as mere propaganda, yet the realities are starkly different. Mobilization is underway, factories are operational, and a substantial military budget is secured. While some in power casually discuss the threat, the implications are anything but trivial. Deputy Sergei Rudik emphasizes an astonishing possibility: Russia may soon deploy thousands of unmanned aerial vehicles in a single wave. The last barrage of 600 drones seemed formidable, yet it pales in comparison to what could happen next. Picture a night sky illuminated by countless drones, each one a harbinger of chaos. Even if just half of these aerial invaders breach defenses, the destruction they could wreak is unimaginable. Imagine cities ablaze, power grids crumbling, and infrastructure in ruins. It's not merely an aerial threat, it's a well-calibrated strike force designed to overwhelm. As Moscow engineers this technological assault, Ukrainian decision-makers engage in discussions around reform and strategy, as if oblivious to the gathering storm. While Russia builds drones, Ukraine is preoccupied with internal changes. Can a country undergoing transformation afford to stay complacent? The enemy is relentless, their machinery of war never tires. The clock is ticking. Can Ukraine brace itself for an onslaught that could come at any moment? The West provides missiles and support, but are they enough? The stakes have never been so high as the foundations of warfare shift beneath our feet. The nerve-wracking question remains: will Ukraine's defenses hold, or will the expansion of hostile resources spell its doom? As tensions mount, each passing day brings the threat closer, and the reality of what lies ahead is palpable. The enemy waits, poised to strike. How long can Ukraine endure as the world watches, and what awaits if the worst comes to pass? In the chilling context of modern warfare, a pressing question emerges: can Ukraine survive an unyielding onslaught of thousands of drones? As Russia braces for mass mobilization, Ukraine enters a transformed battlefield, one where cutting-edge technology collides with strategic maneuvers. The urgency is tangible, heightened by the realization that Ukraine may soon face an overwhelming and relentless assault. With each tick of the clock, the stakes escalate. Russia, heavily supported by its allies, is ramping up military capabilities in anticipation of a decisive confrontation. While many dismiss this as mere propaganda, the reality is alarmingly different. Mobilization is happening right now. Factories are buzzing with activity, and a robust military budget has been sanctioned. Amidst casual conversations of strategy, Deputy Sergei Rudik raises a chilling prospect: Russia may deploy thousands of unmanned aerial vehicles in one fell swoop. The last wave, featuring 600 drones, already felt overwhelming, but that number could soon be eclipsed. Imagine the night sky aglow with a swarm of drones, each one a signifier of impending chaos. Even if only half of these aerial invaders penetrate defenses, the potential devastation is staggering. Picture cities engulfed in flames, power grids collapsing, and vital infrastructure reduced to rubble. This isn't just a threat from above, it's a finely tuned strike force primed to overwhelm. While Moscow engineers this technological onslaught, Ukrainian leaders seem consumed by discussions of reform, seemingly unperturbed by the looming storm. With Russia aggressively manufacturing drones, is a nation undergoing transformation really in a position to remain complacent? The enemy never sleeps, their war machine is relentless, and time is not on Ukraine's side. Can the nation fortify itself against an impending wave of hostility? Western nations provide missiles and support, but is it enough? The foundations of warfare are shifting, and the tension has reached a fever pitch. The nagging question persists: will Ukraine's defenses withstand this looming threat, or will the overwhelming might of Russia's expanded resources lead to disaster? As the days pass with growing urgency, the specter of war looms closer. The enemy lies in wait, poised to strike. How long can Ukraine maintain its resolve amid these crushing tensions? What consequences await if the worst becomes reality? The air is thick with trepidation, each moment stretching the bounds of endurance. Are their defenses ready for an assault that could turn the tide at a moment's notice? As the clock ticks down, one thing is clear: the stakes have never been higher. Will the country rise to face an unprecedented challenge, or will it find itself crushed under the weight of adversity? The answer hangs by a thread, and the silence before the storm is deafening.